Hey, sports fans, and welcome back to the chatter. I'm Billy.
I'm Clifford Davis.
Uncle Ponce. What's going on, guys?
In case y'all didn't know, NASCAR has returned to live sports. We finally have something to watch. The race that happened was in Darlington Raceway this past Sunday. What did y'all think about it? Did you like it? You know what they added to the event. Do you think it has something that's going to get more viewership as time continues? Do you think it'll help make the sport more popular as time goes on? What are your thoughts?
Well, right now, I think NASCAR proved with their viewership ratings that it's what people are going to watch right now. There isn't much else to watch. You got Korean baseball, German soccer, hopefully some golf, and then NASCAR. So people are going to watch what's new and available. And I think NASCAR did a pretty good job. They kept it pretty clean. Everything looked pretty smooth. I don't think they really had any issues. I thought the way they did the start was pretty interesting with having the healthcare workers try to call the start of the race. I was kind of wondering how the racers were actually hearing that, if they heard it through their headsets or however that worked out.
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool that NASCAR's getting back. I'll tell you, I'll be pretty honest, right? I mean, it is the only thing that's on TV, right, that we were able to see live action sports on Sunday. So, yeah, I definitely wanted to catch that. Now, if things got back to normal tomorrow, right, and if something else, they had some football games, some baseball games on, I don't know. I may not be watching NASCAR, but I did think it was pretty cool. And they maybe should have even been able to do it a lot sooner. Maybe start – because I think with them being in cars, it's safe. It's not like you're playing soccer and touching other people and things like that. So I think car racing, bike racing, those things like that should definitely be going on right now. I mean, if you stay safe, right?
Yeah, and they were –
I was going to say, I think when you're – the reason why it took them a little longer is you got to think about, the pit crews, right? Everybody's really jammed in there together, all trying to be in the same little space before they jump out on the speedway to try to fix the car and get the driver back rolling.
Yeah, I will say, though, that they seem to be, practicing social distancing when they could, and we're all wearing masks, besides the driver at the very end, but, he's all by himself. But they were really taking precautions. And going back to viewership and, just how many viewers that were actually wanting live sports, because me personally, I've never really watched the full NASCAR race, maybe the very end, just to see what happened. But it had 6.32 million viewers, and it's a 38% increase from the last race that was on March 8th. So what do you think that means going forward? Do you think that there'll be a more substantial amount of people, or do you think it'll be around 6 million viewers a week? They have another race coming up this Wednesday.
I mean, yeah, I think viewership is probably remain high, especially during this time of this lockdown. So come Wednesday or whenever the next race, next Sunday, or wherever have they do it. Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll continue to get the viewers because there's nothing else. And it's still interesting, right? I mean, still competing. There's still a winner. There's a loser. I mean, so it's fun. It's racing. It's something to enjoy and make. It's actually interesting. So with these, I don't know if anybody's been able to look, but since Vegas, right? I mean, obviously gambling. I mean, is that something that's also can you gamble on these with what's going on? Look at that, right?
I mean, it would be interesting to see who's going to wreck first because getting into this race, there was a lot of crashes, and even the very beginning, with the number 47 car, Ricky Stenhouse. What did you think, Cliff, going into that? Were you surprised by all the wrecks, or what did you think?
I think Stenhouse really was kind of what the hell? I mean, he kind of spun out into the infield, and I mean, it's just we haven't even completed a full lap here. Maybe that's just a little bit of rust. Someone didn't check the car enough. I don't know I didn't see exactly what caused it, but I mean, it's you didn't even get one lap in. Come on. And then the other one that kind of really surprised me was Jimmy Johnson, but he ended up clipping Chris Buescher. So, I mean, that was was really on Jimmy Johnson. But I mean, it just was unfortunate for him. I think that was it the last lap before the end of the first stage, right?
Yeah, it was like the last turn going into the first stage. But I mean, a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that, we don't really know when they showed up, or at least I don't know off the top of my head. And they weren't able to practice on the track, getting a feel for the turns, beforehand. So I think a lot of that goes into consideration that, you have no idea what you're going to get into or how many, how your tires are going to take to the surface, the race surface. And, it was noticeable with, I think there was 9 cautions, that's seems like a lot, they never really got into a long groove. It was every 50 laps. It seemed like they were having to, bring out, and just slow down the race, before they get back up again. And, they would slow down, in another 30 laps because someone else got wrecked into the wall.
Yeah, man, that's something to think about, especially with safety. Don't want injuries to happen even in a motorized sport. So I think you hit it right on the nail. I mean, not getting that practice and knowing the turns and things like that probably attributed to a lot of the crashes. It's something to think about, at least as they further progress into the league or their season, allowing the drivers to get out there and really get a feel for everything, just to eliminate any type of major disasters that could help. So what to think about.
The good thing is they didn't have another Ryan Newman incident, and he came back on this race, so that's pretty awesome to see. It's good to see that he's able to get back to racing and everything and feel confident with it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Missing the 2 months might not have been great for the whole sport, but at least for him to, be able to come back and, be able to get back in the race car and, it not being, a serious injury to the point where, it ended his full season. How do you think on Wednesday, do you think that there'll be less wrecks just because they have a feel, they have a feel for the race surface because it's going to be in Darlington again?
Well, I think it's going to run a little bit smoother. The only thing I'm really concerned about with the upcoming races is the hurricane that's brewing off in the coast, looking like it's going to just crash right into the Carolinas. So, I mean, I think that's more the bigger concern is, what are they going to do if, the hurricane comes through there, how bad it is, are they going to push off a couple more races and then just move on to the next state? Because they're going to they're going to race, I think 4 races at Darlington, and then they move on to the next state, and they're doing
the next race
20 races in 7 states.
Yeah, the one on Wednesday is in Darlington, and I think they go to North Carolina after that and play 2 races, which is still in, that's just, North Carolina. So, I mean, it's right there on the coast still in the Carolinas. So that'll be nice to see how that plays out, if that has any effect on, will they move it or will they, continue to delay the season? Or do you think they'd go back to virtual racing if something happened, with a hurricane, kind of what they were doing before having, live sports again? Do you think they'll go back to like an iRacing thing just on if they can't play or if they can't race that Sunday?
I don't know. That'd be pretty interesting. I mean, that's one of the other interesting things is you got Matt Kenseth replacing Kyle Larson because he can't watch his language during iRacing. I mean, he got fired, lost all his sponsors, and then he got replaced. I mean, I don't know really. I actually watched some of the iRacing. I thought it was interesting. I mean, I like esports, so, it's something a little bit different. It was something, you're not watching the same old event, it's something new. And just seeing some of the racers and actually seeing them and their whole setup trying to race, is kind of funny. You had some of the legends come back and do it. You had ESPN analysis jumping in there. I thought that was pretty cool. So I could see them doing that maybe if something major happens again, maybe they go back to some more iRacing, but who knows?
Yeah, no. I like live sports, man. I think Wednesday, depending on what I guess weather. You guys know a little bit more about that. I assume it's like regular driving with track conditions. That's something to take into account. I just hope no major injuries, because that would pretty much put a big old black eye on the sports if something like that drastic was to happen. Trying to rush this thing, trying to get everybody back on the track and do things for actual fans who are watching it. Although we're not live, they're not there, right? But giving something, some entertainment for the weekend. Just hoping nothing happens on that.
Yeah, and then going back to the whole, not actually being there live, Kevin Harvick actually won the race, and he said beforehand that he didn't think it was going to be that different. You're just racing. You don't really hear the crowd necessarily, just because of the loud engines going by every time. So during the race, I didn't think much of it. They'll show like aerial shots of the the grandstands, and there's no one there. But at the end of it, whenever they did the speech at the end where he won, he said that it was different because it was just so silent. Usually it's an exciting time. You see the guy doing donuts, and you're like, oh yeah, let's do this, and just nothing, just him.
Yeah, it's always been like that. If you remember when we played, Pee Wee football.
Oh, I think Mike just cut out. Well, I mean, I think it's definitely something that, like seeing it without fans, I think it kind of was anticlimactic if you want to really look at it that way.
Yeah.
He won the race, but, there's no color, no like looking at the fans, seeing a bunch of people cheer him on. You don't see, all of his group rushing the winner's circle and, busting out a bunch of bottles, trying to break open some champagne and spray it at him, or him trying to bust out some champagne bottles. It's definitely something that was a little bit different.
Yeah, but that's all we have today. Thanks for joining us again for the chatter. In case you want to watch some live sports, NASCAR is our next race this Wednesday on Fox at 7:30 Eastern. Stay safe.
Later.